I did not start this life off with six-pack abs, the confidence and discipline I carry on today. I started off as this like super shy gamer kid with asthma and played Xbox 360 for 8+ hours a day. I hated my reality and I wanted to escape it. I always knew that I wasn't the person I wanted to become. And in this video, I'm gonna explain to you how running and lifting turned me from that into the person I am today. In elementary and middle school, I was always the kid picked last for PE. And that just furthered my hatred for sports, running, fitness, just everything physical in general. So I stayed pale. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to face the reality. Every time I went into PE, I would always try to skip out on the sport that we were playing because I would always feel super embarrassed with my capabilities. I blamed it all on my asthma when people asked if I wanted to go for a run, if I wanted to do this or that. But in reality, I just didn't believe myself. I wasn't taking chances on myself to improve. With video games, I could be whoever I wanted and I could be in whatever reality I wanted to be as well. If I wanted to play Black Ops 2, I could do that. If I wanted to play Minecraft or Roblox, I could do that. So while looking back at it, I've always had this discipline and work ethic. Like I would work my ass off mining in the caves of Minecraft and getting all the blocks I needed. I just didn't know how to translate that into real life, into like skills. And that all changed when I got into high school. We ended up moving to a whole new town, so I ended up getting a clean slate. Moving to a new town just gave me so much hope because I could form my own identity. I didn't have to be labeled as this gamer kid anymore. Unfortunately, for my first semester, since I still had a lot of limited beliefs in myself, I still took on the identity that people put onto me as a shy, lonely, awkward, weird kid. So I was hanging out with the weird kids. You know, it's kind of mean, but it's true. We were all collectively weird. The one moment I'll never forget from my high school experience was like my first day of school. I was hanging out with like this group of guys and we were eating lunch together, playing DS or whatever. And all of a sudden this girl comes out with her phone and starts videotaping us and calls us like fucking nerds. And that was my welcome to high school. And fortunately I had that experience because otherwise I probably would have stayed with the same crowd. But second semester of high school was where the real change happened. I ended up meeting these two guys who would eventually become my teammates on like the track team, who invited me out to some practices and I met the team. I liked what they did. I just instantly just fell in love with the sport. It was exactly what I needed. I liked like the people there, the community, and also like the purpose that it gave me. I now had something to look forward to after class. I now had an activity. I told my parents about it and like they were as shocked as I was that I was getting into this. Like obviously like very impressed, but they didn't think that me, the guy who was playing video games for 8+ hours a day would get into this, would get into sports. So they were obviously very like livid about that as well. Looking back at this now, I was never supposed to be like stuck as the shy, anxious guy. No one's born that way. It's just the way my environment was when I was growing up. That was the identity people imposed onto me. But with running, that just unveiled like my true personality, like the true person of who I was meant to be. And while that all seemed great at the time, running became my full identity. Every decision I made was made based on whether or not it would affect my running. I would only hang out with the track and cross country team. I wouldn't really do anything outside of running. So when I had a bad race, when I didn't do what I wanted to do or a bad workout, then that would just lead me down a downward spiral. And it got really bad in college. In college, this was during COVID, so it was already a pretty bad year already for racing. You know, high school, we had to do like time trials and maybe dual meets here and there, but it just wasn't the same. So I thought college would be better, and it did not. With college, the team was very small because again, it was during COVID. So I didn't have that same companionship as I had here in high school. The coach, she was not, let's just say we butt heads a lot with her coaching. It wasn't what I was used to. I tried to follow it, but it just wasn't working for me and she just was not convinced. But that's a story for another time. With each race that went by, I was getting worse and worse and worse in terms of performance. I would set these high goals and standards for myself and I just was not meeting them. I would feel so anxious on the way up to like the cross country meet, the track meet. And afterwards, if I didn't do like the way I wanted to do, I would cry in the car. It just wasn't a good period in my life. Mentally, I was going down. The sport I gave my entire life to, that I revolved my whole life and identity to, it was failing on me. And that just pissed me off because it's a sport I put my whole heart into. It's a sport that changed me. So without running, what was I? Who was I? So at that point, I hated having the skinny runner body. I hated how weak I felt. I hated how slow my race times were dropping, even though I was putting so much time and effort into the sport. I just felt like a failure, so I just ended up quitting. I got into lifting. You know, my first 8 months of lifting, I was still running at the same time, but I dropped running altogether because I made zero progress in my lifting and I blamed it all into my running. It was great at first. I was building more muscle, I was getting stronger, but eventually it caught up to me that I missed running. My attractiveness to the opposite sex ended up dropping down because my face got fatter. shitter. I lost my abs and my cardio went down to the shitter as well. I mean, I can barely walk up the stairs without like feeling winded and out of breath. And eventually, and this was my turning point, my asthma symptoms did not see since I got into running. It was at that moment when I asked myself the question, can I actually combine running and lifting together to run fast, lift heavy, and look good? Can I actually compete in my races while also having a physique that I'm proud of? And while at first it was definitely no, my self-limiting beliefs told me like, hey, dude, like running made you like feel skinny and weak. You build all this muscle, you don't want to lose that. But eventually I started combining the two, and lo and behold, 2 years later, I've built the body of my dreams. I recently ran a 16:46 5K in a time trial, which is comparable to my times in college when I was 15 pounds lighter than I am now. And overall, I just feel happier, more confident. Like I don't need to succumb to one thing and specialize in and just end up burning out from it. I just feel like I can do this training for the rest of my life and still want more, still feel happy, and just feel just ultimately just fulfilled in life, which not a lot of people can say. And that is exactly why I do what I do. I want to help young ambitious men who are in my position to run fast, lift heavy, and look good, to be able to break those limiting beliefs, to be able to reveal an identity that they never would have thought that they had, where they're walking around more confidence. They're still signing up for like the local 5Ks, but also going to the gym, feeling stronger, and not feeling that they have to choose between the two, that they can combine both. I don't want them to go through what I went through, the confusion from the fitness industry, of all the noise out there that just spout all this BS that made no sense, the burnout that I went through, the identity crisis. I don't want them to go through that. I want them to have a guy that they can look up to, a guy that's done it, and that's the person that I want to be. Running and lifting saved me, and I just owe everything to this lifestyle. And if I could sit across from my younger self one last time, I mean, he wouldn't be able to recognize me, and I just see great pride in that, knowing that I've gone this far and that he didn't things. Oh my god. Fuck. If I could sit across from my younger self one last time, I mean, he wouldn't be able to recognize me, which I see just great pride in, just knowing how far I've come, knowing how far that we've made it together, and how it doesn't have to be the way that he started off as. Like, it doesn't matter where you start, it just matters where you end. I would tell my younger self that it's okay, I hear you, I understand where you're coming from, but it doesn't have to be like this. You don't have to live the rest of your life like this. I know the pain, I know the suffering, I know the anger that you've been brought up in, but it doesn't have to be that way. That there's more to life after this. Just take more chances on yourself. That like this isn't your true like self and identity. You don't have to hide away anymore. So if you are a runner who wants to start building muscle today, in the first link in the description down below, I'm gonna put it in the comments as well. I've included a free guide for you. It's gonna walk your hand through the entire process. It's got 3 whole years of lifting knowledge, made by runner for runners. And if you want a fully personalized 12-week strength training plan that goes around your goals, your schedule, and your experience, click the second link down below to work with me directly. Early access is happening right now, so this will be at the best price it's ever gonna be. I make videos for young ambitious men who wanna run fast, lift heavy, and look good to maximize not just their fitness, but the quality of life as well. If that's you, subscribe and follow for more.